Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How are you all doing today? Let me do some things I forgot to do before the stream here. Good grief. I'm all over the place today. How is everybody out there doing though? 50. Create that going there. Oh my goodness, what a day. What a day, what a day. Oh, I messed that one up. So we're gonna be chatting about a few things today. We're gonna be talking about a few things today. I'll have to send out a link to my Patreons 1 second. We're going to be diving into a really interesting topic today, something that I find very interesting. We're going to be talking about, into some narcissistic personalities. Keep forgetting to do this. I need to do this more often. There we go. Kind of a low energy stream today. Hello, Tom P. Hello, Ragnarok Knight, Action Toys, Blaze Firestorm. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing today? Kind of a low energy stream today. I think it's going to be pretty quiet. Hello, Milo the Gamer. How are you? How are you doing? All right. I think we're good. I think we got everything open I wanted to get open. Actually, I do want to open up one more thing. Randy. How are you? You're old. Action Toys. I believe it. My Teespring has more products on it. It has new products on it for anyone who's interested. I'm going to pull up the store here in just a moment. You too can check out the store, the official Canuckleheads store. How the hell do I view this now? How the hell do I view this now? Let's do this. We're gonna window capture this here in just a moment. Click. Perfect. Bring this up to the top. We are gonna jump in the topic in a little bit here, but I wanted to show off the brand new merch today. The brand new merch debuting today, and for people who are listening on Spotify, you can find this. I think if you just search official Canuckleheads store, you'll be able to find it, I think. Or you just like look up Canuckleheads Teespring, or follow the link that's in the description. Y'all can find it. But here we go. Let me just reset the transform on this one so it's nice and full screen. Here we go. You can see we have our lovely Canucklehead merchandise, but we also have a brand new edition. We have a brand new edition. We have the Merry Vag Christmas line now available. You can get yourself a lovely face mask. You can get yourself a lovely fanny pack. You can get some t-shirts. You can even get a wife beater if you really, really wanted to. You really, really wanted to. And they all have the Knucklehead song. They all have the lovely picture here with the little Christmas tree stylized to look like something naughty. And it says Merry Vag Christmas on the back. Multiple different colors across multiple different t-shirts. So these can be yours. These can be yours if you so wish. Nice, simple design. Yeah. Who doesn't like a little bit of a bush, right? Who doesn't like a little bush? So you can find that. You can find that in the Canucklehead store now. You can get yourself a nice little cloth face mask. There you go. You can check out all that stuff. Is there a Speedo? I don't think they have Speedos. I've opened up like a ton of different cool things now. Not gonna lie, the fanny pack is my favorite. I actually did order one. Because on the top of the fanny pack, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it says Merry Vagic Christmas right along the top of the fanny pack. So like pretty much like only you can see it, unless people are staring at your junk. But fanny pack in the Australian sense makes this even more hilarious. And it's fan-fucking-tastic. And you get it in multiple different colors. Beautiful different colors. You can get it in festive colors. You can get it in summery colors. You can just get it. I have one coming. I will show it off on stream when I get some of these. We have the tights, which perfectly placed, I think, perfectly placed. And then right along the backside, you can show off. You can show it off. Merry Vagic Christmas. So yeah, there you go. We have this available now for sale in the Canuckleheads store. You can get yourself a variety of different things: t-shirts, tank tops, just in time. All this wonderful, wonderful stuff. You can go as loud as you want to. You can be as gay as you want to. If you want to out-gay Vic's pants, if you want to out-gay Vic's pants, this is a perfect way to do it. An absolutely perfect way to do it. So that bush needs a trim. You're not wrong. As you can see, it's a very stylized, very curvaceous depiction of Vagic Christmas here. So there you have it. And yes, we hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. What do you think Vic's size and tights are? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. I think he's probably a small or a medium, because he got like a small shirt at Kitchener Comic-Con. So okay, Vic's pants, no fucking way that'll happen. I don't know. I think we're pretty close. So you can check that out on the official Canucklehead store. It's fun. It's a fun little thing I put together there for y'all. Kind of celebrating the I'm gonna add myself to that, I guess. Celebrating the wonderfulness that was last stream. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you guys so much for that. That was actually incredible. I'm going to plan a celebration stream, so like we are going to celebrate it. I'm not going to do it right this second, just because I had a topic already picked out that I wanted to do. But we are gonna celebrate it. I'm probably going to wait to celebrate it. Once I get a decision on if I get YouTube partner. So I applied for YouTube partnership. I don't know if I have it yet. I have to wait and see if they're gonna approve it. I don't see any reason as to why they wouldn't. Because I checked all the TOS stuff. I don't think that I've been in violation of any of the TOSs, or anything like that would stop me. 90% of my stuff would be monetized anyways, so I think it'd be fine. So I'm waiting to see if I get partnership. If I don't get partnership, whatever, we'll celebrate 1,000 subs finally. If I do get partnership, then we'll celebrate that as well. So, and there will be cake. There will be cake. Absolutely. Wondering as to how you'd feel if the Fullmetal Alchemist news for next month turns out to be a new anime without Vic Mignogna voicing the main character. Be kind of dumb, in my opinion, but I mean, like, such is the that's the way it goes in voice acting, like in anime, right? I mean, like, voice actors get replaced. I mean, how many Bulmas have there been? There's like 75 Bulmas, right? And she's like one of the more mainstay characters in Dragon Ball, but I mean, that's just the way it goes, right? Unfortunately, Vic had the unique opportunity of being the same character for basically the entire series run, which is almost unheard of, considering. So, I mean, if that's the way they choose to do it, I mean, that's fine. It probably won't be as good as Vic's portrayal. It'll be different. But there's really, I mean, that's the way it goes, right? Unfortunately. They've remade She-Ra, they've remade They've remade He-Man. I guarantee you the original voice actors were not consulted for those characters either. So, I mean, it's the way it goes. They want to do their own thing. That's fine. I mean, it'd be nice if they brought Vic back. It would be smart if they brought Vic back, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Just because, number one, they probably don't want to pay him more than what they would an entry-level voice actor, and two, they probably don't want to deal with all the morons that are going to be screeching at them, which is what the topic of today's show is going to be. We're going to be talking about morons and screeching. Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it anyways, without Vic voicing it. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about the morons that have been screeching. You haven't seen the new He-Man trailer yet? Heard mixed reviews. Well, a lot of people are really mad over the fact that He-Man is not really prominent in the series, which, I mean, to be honest, He-Man wasn't very prominent in the original series either. Like, it was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's it's pretty much the same thing in this one. It's like, it's not just about He-Man, it's about the entire universe. So from what I've seen, they're trying to be as honoring to the original as possible. So who knows? We'll see how it goes. A whole show about Ron. Oh my god, I've already done 3 of those. I've already done 3 shows about Ron. I don't think anybody else on the planet wants to hear any more about that lunatic. Australia's anime streaming company is being rebranded as Funimation. Kind of weird. What do I think? Odd. I wonder if they're connected at all, and if they're not connected, I wonder what the IP law would be around that, because I know that Australia has really strong laws against infringement. And yeah, so we'll see. That'd be interesting. I don't think that Sony would have. I don't think that Sony would reach over multiple countries. I think that might be something like they just may be taking a name, but that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. He-Man box set, yeah, do it up. Yeah, so today's kind of a low energy day. I've been lazy because like all fucking week we've been at work. We've been gearing up for the reopening because we're finally reopened in Ontario to a point where we can actually go to restaurants. We can actually like buy non-essential shit. And yeah, it's at work. It was like the entire fucking week was just a slog to get it done. It was 8 million degrees in Ontario all fucking week. Hello, Toyman99X. Welcome. It was 8 million degrees in Ontario all fucking week, and I was dying because I'm sure most of you know, being on hormone replacement therapy, you kind of go through I don't know what the right term is, but like second puberty, right? Kind of where your hormones and shit are all out of fucking whack. Being on that and thyroid medication means that I have absolutely no tolerance for temperature at fucking all. So the wonderful thing is I basically handle the temperature as well as a pregnant woman does, which is not at all. So I am currently dying, dying a slow death, a slow heat death, just like the universe. Things will be okay. Things will be okay. Much better at night, I gotta say. They could be paying a franchising fee. It is really fucking hot stuff. It was literally with the Humidex. I think it was for the Americans. It would be 140 with the Humidex last week. Like it was literally like all this week. It was fucking nuts. It was actually dumb hot here. So for Canadians, that would be about 50 degrees, by the way. And you know, internationals, that'd be about 50 degrees with the Humidex all fucking week. It was so fucking hot that in our freezers, in our coolers, the floor was literally sweating because the ambient temperature was so hot and muggy, and the cooler could only cool down so much before it had to defrost because it would freeze the fans. The temperature difference was like, it literally made the floor sopping wet because it was so fucking hot. But yeah, it seems unpleasant, just a slight bit unpleasant. What you can recall is the Full Metal Alchemist rights is currently owned by Aniplex and Funimation. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. It's up to them, right? It's not up to the voice actors, unfortunately. It's not up to the voice actors who they get to voice. They can just hopefully get tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, do this. Oh my god. Bezos is a clown? There's a lot of clowns. There's a lot of clowns we have to talk about. Tons and tons and tons of clowns. Drum roll after that quip. One thing I wanted to address really briefly before I get into the main meat and potatoes of today's stream. I wanted to talk briefly about no yawning. I wanted to talk briefly about the shit going down with Scott Cawthon and how that's really not fucking okay. How that's really not okay. Sorry, 1 second. Someone needs my attention. All right, I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. So I don't know if people have been following or heard about what's been happening with Scott Cawthon. Scott Cawthon is the creator, the man behind the curtain for Five Nights at Freddy's. He's literally like done so freaking much with so freaking little. It's absolutely insane. He basically created the FNAF franchise from nothing. Took the world by storm. Great series, great storytelling. Even made like a book series off of it. He's making a movie, all this fun stuff. And some idiot on the internet, some clown like we're gonna talk about today, I don't know why this is an issue. Apparently like turned over from the rock that they were sleeping under for the past like 5, 6, 10 years, I don't know, and discovered that Scott is a Republican, as if that matters at all. That Scott has been donating to Republicans, yada yada, and apparently this is an issue now. Apparently the fact that he supports Republican politicians, suddenly undoes all of the good and stuff that he's done for literally years, and that is deserving of putting him in the ground. I'm not entirely sure why. He's put out a statement on Reddit. If I haven't seen it, it's definitely worth reading. I haven't seen it yet. I did end up sending him some supportive words on via email yesterday, and he did thank me for them. He said it did mean a lot. Let me just say this like real quick. As a member of the trans community, because there's apparently a community that I didn't agree to join or was asked to join or whatever. As a member of that community, don't, please, for the love of God, stop giving the fringe, the extreme sides of these people any sort of daylight. Don't give them attention. Don't give them any sort of credence. Don't do anything like that, because they are the 1% of the 1%. They don't make up anything of what the greater whole think of. Personally, like I told Scott in my email, like, I don't care what your political linings are. I really don't. Like, you've done something that all of these people that are coming after him have not done. Like, he is a creator. and all they know how to do is destroy. So I'm telling him to keep his head up high. I would love to dive into it possibly later on another show when I have more time to look into all of it and all that stuff. But yeah, I think people are being absolutely ridiculous. I think there's a lot of stuff that is going into it because, you know, things that people enjoy have to be destroyed, right? Because in order to control the masses, we have to remove joy from the masses. We have to demoralize them to the point where they can't find joy in anything anymore, and they just submit. That's the motivation behind all of this, right? We have to take away all the things that are good and fun and wholesome, and make it all about, you know, submission to the machines. And I, for one, don't stand for that shit. So I'm hoping that Scott and his family are doing well. I'm hoping anybody that has to go through this shit realizes that these people they're damaged mentally. They are not healthy individuals. And this is not because of their chosen, like, this is not because of their, like, their sexuality or their gender identity or anything else like that. This is a chosen lifestyle. This is a chosen lifestyle. This is them consciously choosing to stay and be in what they are. This is not an infliction. This is a choice that they're making themselves, and that's what people have to understand the difference between. Yes, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely helps. Absolutely helps. Appreciate it. So, I just wanted to talk briefly about that. I want to say if anyone has a moment, send Scott some supportive words. I'm sure he would appreciate it. And stuff like this. I mean, send supportive words to anybody, honestly, that are going through some shit right now. I know that I can tell you from personal experience, right? Having to deal with these cancel culture lunatics and having to deal with people who literally don't operate within the realm of reality. Having to deal with these individuals is exhausting because you're not dealing with a person. You're not dealing with you're not dealing with an individual. You're not dealing with an organic thought. You're dealing with a machine. And I'm not saying this to dehumanize the people that are out there accusing people, blah blah blah. No, it's more than that. You're dealing with an idea, and you're dealing with people who have no connection and no responsibility and no repercussion from pushing that idea. So how do you deal with that? How do you fight back against that as a person? Because what they have done, what these individuals have done, they've dehumanized you, right? They are not. This is why I say PR doesn't work. This is why I say PR is dead. PR does not work. Public relations was a thing in the 90s because people were people and businesses were businesses, right? That was a thing. People were people and businesses were businesses. Brands were their own thing. People were their own thing. Now the two have merged together, right? It's no longer, you know, I'll just take Vic as the example. It's no longer Vic Mignogna the person, it's Vic Mignogna the brand. And so people look at that and they say, well, a brand isn't a human being, so we can attack and destroy a brand all we want. We can go after a brand until we completely remove it. But what they fail to realize, either willingly or through years of brainwashing, is that when you're attacking somebody, that's a person. They don't realize that anymore. That reality is not in their brain anymore. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about today as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about how we get there and how we get away from it. Absolutely dealing with irrational mindsets. 100%. 100%. It's a slow burn process to get where we are. It is inhumane, Andrea. Absolutely. It's absolutely inhumane. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. I've seen it happen multiple times. I'm seeing it happen right now. The stuff with Quentin Flynn right now. He's very much getting treated the exact same way from the exact same playbook. We read the playbook last week. We read over the playbook last week. It's about dehumanizing and desensitizing and demoralizing. Hello, Ludenost. How you doing? It's about removing the human element so people can justify being absolute fucking monsters to each other. Because being an absolute monster to another human being, that has moral repercussions, right? But being an absolute monster to an inanimate object, or something that we don't perceive as human, or something that we've demonized, that's okay though, right? That's okay. We've been conditioned to be like, that's fine. That's what we've been conditioned as. Last show was great. Absolutely, people should watch them. Finally got some time off. At the same time that I'm streaming. Missed you too, Ludenost. Missed you too. Welcome back. Welcome back. And again, so yeah, I've applied for YouTube partnership. We hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. We have blown past the 4,000 watch hour mark. We're almost at 11,000 watch hours over the past year, which is insanity. So thank you guys so much for helping that. That's been incredible. I don't have super chats yet. I've applied for the partnership program. It takes about a month for it to go. So we'll have a celebration either if or if not when we get the word that we're partner or not, whatever. I'll have a celebration at that point. But until then, if you want a super chat, and have the lovely Bella read your super chat for you, all you have to do is follow that little the little link at the top of the chat right now. It's pinned at the very top. You can use Stream Elements to super chat anything over $2 US. The lovely Bella will read live on stream for you. So, until I get actual super chats, which I don't know if I ever will. Who knows? We might not. You can always use that donation link right there. It is much appreciated. YouTube will want to make you a partner so they can run ads. Exactly. Well, they can run ads. They updated their TOS to say that they can run ads on even non-partnered streams. So there's that. They've basically said that they're allowing themselves. They have allowed themselves to run ads on streams that and videos that they don't even have a partnership agreement with. They just don't pay people. You don't know if there's a delay in procession of the YouTube PP apps, but the channel you know is a 45-day on 30. Their app reply timetable. Yeah, it's like they said on the thing it was like less than a month. It was about a month or so when they get back to me. So it's interesting looking at the mental gymnastics people like this to just justify abuse. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that right now, actually. So I think we've filled in the first little bit of the show well enough here. I'll plug the Teespring a little bit later as well, a tiny bit later as well. I mean, yeah, it's Pride Month, but they don't take into account anything like that when they're making decisions. They said so. Yeah, it's they say they don't take into account how popular your channel is. They don't take into account your gender identity, etc., etc. So, womp womp. They only take into account. I mean, it works for me because my channel. I don't think my channel's super duper popular, but it works. It works for me because they're going by TOS standards and channel strikes and shit like that. I don't think I've hit any of those, so that'd be fine. Should be okay. I don't see any reason as to why I wouldn't. I mean, who knows? They might hit me for even their sustained harassment thing. Like, I would have to make my entire channel about insulting Ron Toye constantly for that to be considered, and even then, that would probably be considered parody or education. But yeah, we'll figure it out. As soon as I know, you guys will know, 100%. Hello, Harima. How you doing? All right. So we'll talk a little bit about this now. We're gonna get into the major topic of today. I wanted to discuss, because there's a lot of shit being thrown out there, and this is usually being done by people who are trying to push an agenda. You'll see a lot of people throw out the word gaslighting. You'll see a lot of people throw out the word narcissist, etc., etc., if they're trying to paint someone and dehumanize somebody, right? This is a very common tactic, usually done by people who are narcissists, oddly enough, because that's the quickest way to cut the legs out from somebody and get people to look at them negatively, right? So I wanted to go over the clinical definition and the process of how you diagnose, or not Reddit, like an actual medical professional, how a medical professional would diagnose narcissism. And we're going to talk a bit about sociopathy, and how the two, when married together, are a very dangerous fucking thing. We're going to talk about that. So, narcissistic personality disorder, it is an actual personality disorder. So the difference here, right? There is a difference between actually like having a personality disorder and just choosing to be an asshole. There's a very different thing here, right? You're gonna see this. The first page I have up here is from the Mayo Clinic. Okay, the first page I have up here, I have quite a few pages popped up here so I can actually read over this shit. Psychological projection to deflect attention off of themselves. There is that. So there's a difference between people who can't help themselves because they are legitimately inflicted with a personality disorder, and there are people who are doing it because they are choosing to do it. They're choosing to emulate it for nefarious reasons. Taking, you've heard about the goings on about the creep show hour. I have not, Oni Lord Miki. I have not. I'll have to take a look into that. You've had experiences with two of them, mentally, emotionally draining, and trying to argue with them. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about narcissistic personality disorder. I haven't had anything to drink. I'm just kind of tired today, so I promise you. I promise you. So we're gonna talk about MPD, and we're gonna talk about sociopathy, and we're gonna talk about what is going on with these attack things and why. We're going to talk about PBS telethons. That's what we're going to talk about. Mayo Clinic, apt. They deal with condiments all the time. They could probably diagnose people with word salad dispute on Twitter. Absolutely. I mean, like, this is probably as close. And I have several of these open right now. I have several different websites open. So you can see that the sources that I'm using, they all have correlating standards. So, if you can. She basically has a lot in common with narcissists that you're covering, and it's coming to bite her back fatally. Yeah, it usually does. It usually does. The thing is dealing with a narcissist in person is much more apparent than dealing with narcissists on social media, because it is the degree of anonymity makes it really fucking easy to be narcissistic on Twitter, or at least emulate it and make it seem like it. But we're gonna talk a bit about that. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So I'm gonna scroll down here to the symptoms, right? The symptoms, signs and symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder and severity of symptoms can vary. People with the disorder can have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, have a sense of entitlement that requires constant excessive admiration. I mean, being on social media, that kind of promotes this, right? Expect to be recognized as superior without achievements that warrant it. Exaggerate achievements and talents. Be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. Believe they're superior and only associate with equally special people. monopolize conversations, belittle or look down upon people who they perceive as inferior, expect special favors, and unquestioning compliance with their expectations. Does this sound familiar yet? Take advantage of the others to get what they want, have an inability and unwillingness to recognize the needs of feelings of others, be envious of others and believe others envy them, behave in an arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious, insisting on having the best everything. Does this not sound like somebody we know? Does it not sound like somebody we know? So generally, when diagnosing narcissistic personality disorder, you have to have at minimum 5 of those things. 5 of different things of that. And we can see how easy it would be to emulate a lot of this stuff. So at the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorder have trouble handling anything they perceive as criticism. They become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment. They have significant interpersonal problems and easily feeling slighted. React with rage or contempt and try to belittle others to make themselves appear superior. Have difficulty regulating emotions and behavior. Experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change. Feel depressed and moody because they fall short of projection. Have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. So people with narcissistic personality disorder may not want to think anything could be wrong, so they are unlikely to seek treatment. They do seek treatment, it's more likely to be for symptoms of depression, drug or alcohol abuse, or other mental health problems, but perceived insults to self-esteem make it difficult to accept and follow with treatment. So it's also very difficult for them to self-identify with this stuff. This was a Mayo Clinic document, not a Soy Boy documentary. That's what I'm saying. This is what I am saying. This is difficult now because it is very easy to emulate these factors and develop narcissistic personality disorder. But it's not truly NPD, right? At that point, it's not truly NPD. This is something, NPD would be something that you don't really have control over, that you have to train yourself away from. Whereas we're seeing on social media, we're seeing with a lot of these individuals that are making accusations, etc. A lot of these people that are excessively looking for clout, they're looking for constant admiration. These individuals develop it. They train themselves into it. And that's not true narcissistic personality disorder. The most you think you can do against a narcissist is to cut them out of your life. You can hear they never. So a true narcissist, a true person, a true narcissistic personality disorder cannot change. They physically are unable to change because it is an infliction on their mind, right? They are not able to stop that, period. They can do things to train themselves, to catch themselves, and train themselves in behaviors to avoid doing that, but they can't actually ever change. They're always going to be in that, and they can always slip back into it. The people that train themselves into these behaviors, they do so willingly, which, in my opinion, is more nefarious. Doesn't panic disorder have remedies of any kind? They do. A lot of disorders have treatments, but not cures, right? This pattern is 1-to-1 with the Quentin Flynn hate mob. Absolutely, it absolutely is, and it's absolutely in line with people on most social media, right? The exaggerated sense of self-importance, the entitlement, the need for constant excessive admiration. They constantly do stuff in order to get back pats, in order to get those little likes, those little thumbs up doodles. They want to get constant praise and admiration. And they're doing it because they have massive insecurities that they want to cover up. They have massive skeletons in their closet that they want to hide. So they're adapting, they're willingly adapting narcissistic traits in order to achieve that, because they've been taught how to do that. Right? They've been taught how to do that by people who are sociopathic. By people who are sociopathic. Now, I'm going to do something I don't really do very often. I'm going to talk about a few of the individuals who I would say, in my unprofessional opinion, have adapted these types of these things, right? And I'm going to talk about a couple people who I believe might be candidates for actually having narcissistic personality disorder. So I would say there's a couple individuals like Shane, like Montello, right? These individuals seem to hit all the marks of NPD. However, I will say, they don't fully blown check off all the boxes, because they're very much the peons that are being used by the people who are actually the sociopaths in this, right? The actual, who's Shane, the shoe eater Shane. We're going way back. We're going way back. And this is the part that I'm talking about. This is the more sinister discussion that we're gonna have here, right? Let's just take another look here. We'll go to Psych Central. So we're just gonna go you can check these out too. If you want to read them. But 7 warning signs that a narcissistic sociopath is exploiting you. So they self-identify with at least 7 traits they regard as evidence of their superiority and their worth, and entitles them in their mind to exploit others with impunity. Now, shoe-eating Shane, the man who was on Nick Rekieta's stream and made a complete ass of himself, trying to dunk on Vic Mignogna originally, portraying himself as this big mover and shaker in the convention community when he was a literal who. Nobody even knew who he was. Nobody knew who he was. So we're gonna talk a bit about this right now here. This is a big thing. Narcissistic personality disorder meeting sociopathic behavior is a dangerous combination, because you're dealing with somebody who thinks that they can do no wrong, who thinks that they are the God's gift to the planet type of thing. You have that, and then you also have the ruthlessness of that they will use and manipulate and throw away anybody that will serve their cause. Anybody at all. Which is why, in itself, these movements, this cancel culture movements, are narcissistic sociopaths. The movements themselves. Not necessarily one individual, but the entire message and the cause is a narcissistic sociopath. It constantly raises people up and winds them up and sends them after people until they get destroyed, until those people are no longer of use to the movement, and the movement throws them away. Right? Let's look at Shane. Let's look at Ginny. Let's look at Montello. What happened to them when their usefulness ran out? What happened to them? Yeah, I'm not gonna say full names for the sake of, my doxing. But I'll talk about them. I'll talk about their first names. But when you look at these movements, the movement itself is a narcissistic sociopath. Because the movement requires constant affirmation. People treat it like a god, right? And the difference is when you're one person. There you go, Shadows King. When you're one person and you're dealing with a machine that is literally cranking out lemmings, there is no end to how many lemmings this machine will spit out. It gets exhausting, right? It gets fucking tiring. And that's what it's designed to do. That's what it is. We've seen it happen. Now, I've seen it happen across about 5 different individuals. 3 of whom, like, y'all would never even know who they are, because it was much more smaller than these, but it happened across Vic Mignogna. It's happening across Quentin Flynn. It's happening to Jeff Nimoy. Right? Happening to Scott Cawthon. You get one person from the movement stepping out, and then everyone gets behind that person and gasses them up. Gasses them up, right? Look at what happened to Chrissy. Look at what happened to Sonny. Right? Chrissy was the one that got chosen, quote unquote, by the group, right? She's the one that could take Quentin down. She's the one that, got everyone gassing her up, saying you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to go out there, speak for victims, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. What happened to her? Look what happened to her. And I'm not saying it's the entire movement. It could just be themselves. It could be whatever. But the whole thing is they get this in their mind. They're gonna put on the bat suit and they're gonna go to war against people, right? They're gonna put on the bat suit and they're gonna go attack people. Problem is that they're all part of the same hug box. They're all part of the same HUD box. They're all part of the same echo chamber. And no one's going to put their hand up and say, actually, guys, I probably shouldn't do that. That's kind of dumb. No one does that because they get cast out. And then there was Kristen, the one who conspired with Shane, fabricate false accusations. Yeah. There's tons of them, and they come and go. Some of them last one tweet. Some of them last one tweet. Some of them last years. Right? Saw Han Leia. Han Leia lasted one tweet, right, before she got completely debunked. But it's these people that step up and like it's the Chloes of the world, the Chrissys of the world, the Sonnies of the world. It's a rotating display of people. It's a rotating display of people. This is why I bring up the fact that it's a PBS telethon, right? For all of you out there who aren't aware, Public Broadcasting System, PBS, used to have telethons, and they would have people like taking donations or like trying to get, for just $1 a day, you could blah, 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 blah. Just $1 a day, you could help support PBS. Keep us going. Keep the stuff going. Blah, 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 blah. And then they would say something, like they would read a script for 5 minutes, and then they would pass it off to the next person. And then they would read the exact same script for 5 minutes. And then that person would pass it off to Elmo, and Elmo would read the same script for 5 minutes. It's literally what's going on. if you don't listen to the first person, you might listen to the second person. If you don't listen to the second person, you might listen to the 572nd person. Are they uniquely difficult? You get the vibes judging by their manners of tweeting. Absolutely. Everyone, and this is the other tactic too, right? This is the other tactic too, is that you're dealing with people who aren't rational, and you're dealing with multiple different personalities, often from the same person. We see it with with Marty on Twitter, right? Marty and Tucson. Law Archive, all the same person. We see people on Law Twitter literally chewing on the same talking points. The same talking points that Chrissy took and went to court with and failed in miraculous fashion. Made herself look like a complete psychopath. Exactly. I stole the anime picture. Putting a clown nose on it makes it harassment. On top of a copyright violation. But the point is, they all play very specific roles. Every single person that steps up, they don't even have the funniest part. The funniest part here is they don't even have to win, right? They don't even have to be a victim. They don't even have to be involved, and they often aren't. They often aren't involved. They're just there to collect their clout. They're there to appropriate victim culture. They're there to appropriate the sympathy that victims get. That's what that's what what's her face has been doing on Twitter this entire time. She hasn't had a single run-in with Quentin in her entire fucking life. Her entire claim to Quentin Flynn was that other people had a problem with him. And so she's standing up. Why? Well, let's I'm gonna say something here real quick. I'm gonna say something here really quickly. I'm actually gonna pull it up. 1 second. Pull up this picture. I gotta pull up this picture 1 moment. Because there was some discussion, okay? And this was gotten on a publicly available page. The funny thing is, Tom, I can say that blanket statement and you can fill in several people's names in there, and that's a problem, right? It was not Mars Girl. However, it is Mars Girl at the same time, because it applies to several different people, and that's an issue. That's a fucking problem. All right, let's do this. So there was a conversation happening a little while ago. Okay. There was a conversation happening a little while ago. And this conversation was that, you know, Chrissy was told in no uncertain terms in her court document that she absolutely had to have no contact, like no fucking connection at all. Sorry, that like fucked up my screen. She was to have absolutely no connection whatsoever to anything Quentin related, right? I'm just doing this really quickly. I can. make sure I'm protecting against my due diligence. So Sonny had no connection to Chrissy, or so she said, right? Because people were saying that when Sonny picked up the torch, then Chrissy was going to get in trouble because they were connected. And Sonny's like, oh, I have no connection to her. I don't even know her. I'm just seeing that there's a victim out there that needs help, and I'm the white knight that's going to be picking this up, right? Okay. Bullshit. And I'll show you why. This is publicly available, by the way. Actually, before I do this. Sorry, folks. I should have done this before. Again, I'm not great at this sort of thing. So, bear with me a moment. Before she goes and DFEs, I'm going to do this. Before she goes and DFEs. I'm going to make sure that that's archived. Well, here's the thing, right? She came out and said that it's like Sonny came out and said, oh, I don't, you can't even prove that I know her. Blah, 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 right? Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. Let me pull up my source here. Let me pull up my source here. This is taking a minute. For people who are watching this or listening to this on Spotify or other locations, I will describe what you're about to see here in just a moment. No, she's claiming like before all the Quentin stuff happened, she had no idea who she was, how they just met through the Quentin because of the accusations and blah 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 blah. Bullshit. This is her publicly available Facebook, by the way, folks. Publicly available Facebook from 2020, May 14th, last year. This is before the Quentin allegations and stuff came out. This is before all of the shit hit the fan, before the lawsuit, before everything. This is Sonny updating her cover photo on Facebook, and this is Chrissy emoting, reacting to it. So they were friends on Facebook since 2020. They knew each other since 2020. So this is... So the fact that Sonny came out and tried to throw shade saying, I never even knew who she was, tee-hee. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Come on, man.
There you go. There you have it. I don't like, making accusations or making discussions or pointing to things. Again, it's on her publicly available Facebook page. I didn't do any deep diving. I didn't do any hacking. I didn't do any Hackerman's bullshit. It's there. Y'all can see it. It's there. For as long as she has it up there, she's probably going to delete it as soon as she sees it. Because she's probably watching the stream right now. There you go. It's there. They absolutely did. They absolutely did see each other. Sonny's reaction Sonny's shenanigans were enough for a local PD to forward a suspected violation to the PO. I have heard that too. I have heard that too. I just did counting. That's what I was doing before I posted it, before I brought it up on stream, because I knew as soon as I bring it up, she's going to go and delete everything. So, but it's archived now, so everybody can see it. But she tried when the stuff first came out. She tried to say that she just came across this and she heard about the Quentin stuff, and then she became friends with she found out about Chrissy afterwards. She has nothing to do with Chrissy. Yeah, no bullshit. She knew Chrissy well before. She knew Chrissy well before. And this seems like it's been brewing for a very long time. Yeah, and she's gonna take us down. She's gonna take us down in an archive folder. Absolutely. Oh yeah, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking in my boots when her biggest idea of a gotcha is Quentin saying how much he loves his wife. That's such an amazing gotcha. You know, keep putting that out there. Cherry cheeks, keep doing it. Keep doing it. So going back to this, 7 signs that you're dealing with a narcissistic sociopath trying to exploit you. They present a consistent pattern of predatory behaviors. I mean, it's what's happening, right? They identify intentionally as willfully exploitive. They self-identify with no moral compass. This part's really interesting. They have no moral compass. Nothing can be more clear about that than the shit that they've been pointing to. I mean, we saw it with Tui, right? Tui DMCAing somebody over her profile picture, and then campaigning against people DMCAing for actual DMCA reasons. There's no moral compass. We saw it with Plummet Rant, right? Campaigning against, oh, Mick Mignogna hugged somebody when they didn't want it. And then coming out and as him like begging for people's underwear pictures while he's married. They have no moral compass. They self-identify as con artists, pathological liars. I mean, there's tons of pathological liars. They self-identify as abusers and bullies. I mean, Ron Toy, does that ring a bell? Right? They self-identify as heartless. They self-identify as entitled to exploit, con, abuse with impunity. These are just some of the things, and I'm sharing this to like kind of go over a bit more about what we saw in one of these damn things, the Mayo Clinic one. So signs of a narcissistic female personality. This is interesting, right? This is from MBG Mindfulness. Martyrdom. The female narcissist can typically be seen as the martyr or virtuous victim. Their pain is greater than anyone else's pain. This is really interesting here. Because we're seeing this with people who aren't even victims of anything. People who want so fucking hard to be a victim. Their pain is more than even an actual victim's pain. We see this all the time, right? Their efforts are bigger than everyone else's efforts. Their suffering is more extraordinary than anyone else's. This is coming from a therapist. This quote is from therapist Wendy Berry. Often referred to as covert or vulnerable narcissism. Where a person may not be as outwardly boastful but still possesses narcissistic traits. Superficial. Like all narcissists, female narcissists are deeply insecure and attempt to mask their insecurities or flaws. They tend to be overly concerned with their physical appearance and social image. Wow. Almost like constantly using Instagram filters on every single fucking picture you post on the internet. Because you're so concerned with how you look. Well, are people out there keeping tally of this? I think we're 2 for 2. Competitive and jealous. Female narcissist will be fiercely competitive, Spinelli says. She has the desire to be the smartest, prettiest, most successful, charming woman in the room. Similar to a conversational narcissist, Barry says the female narcissist always circle conversations back to their own experiences. Wow. Where have we heard this before? If other women appear more interesting or threatening, the narcissist might use shaming techniques and tactics to exile them from the social group. Well, 3 for 3. Honestly, I feel like that's an insult to lemmings. Overbearing parent or mother-in-law. Jealous. Again, the jealousy thing. Yeah, a lot of people don't think that narcissists can exist in women. They absolutely do. At least lemmings look cute. So, I mean, we're seeing it, right? These are signs. Like, and this is not like absolutely 100% how to define someone as a narcissist. These are just signs of potential for. Superiority is the number one sign of a narcissist. This is different from self-confidence alone. The world of a narcissist is all about good, bad, superior, inferior, right, wrong. There is no gray. This is the point. There is no gray area in a narcissistic world. It is them above everything else. It is 1-2. It is 1-2. I mean, yes, Niren, I have, absolutely. And interestingly enough, narcissists can also get the superior feeling by being the worst, most wrong, or most ill. This is interesting too. Because we see it, right? We see it. We see Tui cosplaying Marty, cosplaying Law Archive. Interestingly, that feeling of superiority, of being the absolute fucking worst person on the goddamn planet. Interesting, right? It's not just about being perceived as the best person ever. It can be being perceived as the absolute worst fucking human being to ever exist. Race to the bottom. Then they feel entitled to receive soothing concern and recompense, and even the right to hurt you or demand apologies to make things even. It's called vulnerable or covert narcissism. Isn't that fucking interesting? How about that? Another key thing about narcissists is all about control. As they may not have control over their own lives, they have to have a constant need of control over others. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Exaggerated need for attention and validation. Another core narcissistic trait is the constant need for attention, even just by those following you around the house, asking you to find things, or constantly saying something to grab your attention. Validation for narcissists only counts if it comes from others. It's jumping into people's threads, getting them to argue with you, getting them to fucking report you, getting them to block you, right? Oh, I've been blocked. I'm a victim now because look at how terrible this person is for blocking me. Yeah, they absolutely are. Self-absorbed, grandiose, and very insecure. Perfectionism. Wasn't that funny? Doesn't Marty go around correcting everyone's grammar? Doesn't Marty go around constantly correcting everyone's grammar? Demand for perfection. Great need for control. And this is really what it comes down to, right? For a lot of these people on Twitter, on Law Twitter especially. A lot of these individuals like Tui have zero control over their lives. Zero. They have no control over their lives whatsoever. They're fucking miserable. They're fucking miserable human beings. And so it's everyone else's fault. And so they have to exert control over everybody. They have to exert control over everyone. It's a Ron Toye, right? It's a Ron. It's Montello, right? It's the Fujoshis out there that, you know, get shamed because they wear diapers or something. I don't know. No one else is allowed to have fun because they're being shamed for having fun, right? They feel shame. They feel like that no one else is allowed to do. I don't block people. I don't block people. I mute people because that's more amusing. Like muting people's hilarious. Muting people, like, they could say whatever the hell they want. It doesn't come to it does not come across my timeline. I don't get to see it. Because they want a block. They want to be blocked. They want that victim card. Lack of responsibility, blaming others and deflecting. Lack of boundaries. Lack of empathy. Perceiving everything as a threat. I mean, like, I can march out a fucking laundry list. Although highly attuned to perceived threats, anger, and rejection from others, narcissists frequently misread subtle facial expressions or subtle social cues. Unless acting on the emotions dramatically, a narcissist won't accurately perceive what you're feeling. Very interesting. If your words or expressions aren't congruent, the narcissist will likely respond erroneously or get defensive. This is why narcissists often misinterpret sarcasm as actual agreement or joking from others as a personal attack. Fascinating, right? What kind of remote control would best symbolize number 4? Yeah, Chrissy is good at this one. Absolutely. Emotional reasoning. Yeah, you've probably made the mistake of trying to reason and use logic with the narcissist to try to get them to understand painful effect that their behaviors have on you or others. You think that if they understand how much their behavior hurt you, they'll change. Their explanations, however, don't make sense to the narcissist, who only seems to be aware of their own thoughts and feelings. Although narcissists may say they understand, they honestly don't. This is again the difference between someone who has NPD and someone who willingly chooses to absorb these traits. The person that willingly absorbs these traits does know what it makes others feel. They choose to ignore it or justify it. That's what makes it worse. Narcissists make most of their decisions based on how they feel about something. They simply must have the red sports car based entirely on how they feel driving it, not by whether it's a good choice for the family or for the budget. If they're bored or depressed, they want to move or end relationships to start a new business. They always look for something or someone outside of themselves to solve their feelings and their needs. It's really interesting here. Really interesting here. Splitting. The personality is split into good and bad parts. They also have split everything in the relationship to good and bad. Negative thoughts and behaviors are blamed on you or others, whereas they take credit for everything positive and good. Isn't that funny too? Right? We see this all the fucking time. And these aren't people who have narcissistic personality disorder. These are people who are adapting it, who are appropriating it. That's fucking 10 times worse. Because it's a learned behavior. It's a conditioned behavior. Not something they're born with. It's something they're actively, consciously choosing to be. Fear of rejection and ridicule, anxiety, deeply repressed shame, an inability to truly be vulnerable, inability to work or work as part of a team. I got the types of narcissists. Healthy narcissism. Yeah. I mean, we all have a little bit of healthy narcissism. Grandiose narcissism. Vulnerable narcissism, also known as covert malignant narcissism. These are all things you can look up as well, by the way. I'm not going to go over all of it. So malignant narcissism, they get pleasure seeing people writhe in pain and discomfort. Jesus Christ. That sounds like Twitter. Manipulative and malicious. They show signs of sadism and aggression, according to AJP. One of the most severe subtype narcissistic personality disorders. They've spent their lives perfecting their craft on how becoming better narcissists. Oh, there's a list. There's a list. Borderline antisocial histrionic. All right, introduction. It's a free article. Recognized as a serious condition, it's been largely ignored by psychiatric literature. I wonder why. This is like a lot of stuff. I'd love to dive into this stuff, but it would take like literal hours to go through all of this. I suggest reading it up on your own, because definitely will be worth the read. You can check out stuff on National Library of Medicine. Look up malignant narcissism. There's apparently a free paper on it you can take a look through. Malignant narcissism is severe personality disorder that has devastating consequences for the family and society. Requires attention within the discipline of psychiatry and the social science community. So this is the narcissistic sociopath I was talking about, by the way. It's considered malignant narcissism. But these are individuals. There's the sexual narcissism, somatic narcissism. Derive their self-worth from their bodies. That's interesting. So there's our OnlyFans. Cerebral narcissist. Self-importance through their minds. Spiritual narcissist. And it's, narcissism, it's on a spectrum. Lots of spectrums. The point that I'm trying to make through all of these different articles here, we see all of this stuff on a daily fucking basis, right? Sounds like certain voice actors seem to share these traits quite befittingly so. And again, you can look at these lists and you can say, oh my God, there are so many fucking people that fit into these things, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have narcissistic personality disorder. It does not necessarily mean that they're doing it on purpose or accidentally. However, you can take a look at their behaviors. And I again, unless you're a psychologist, unless you're in that field, I mean, I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody with anything like this. But I can absolutely say, based on these descriptions, there's a lot of fucking people that are involved on one side of these accusations that check off more boxes than they leave empty. And it's not the people being accused. When the behaviors are maladaptive, it's a problem. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. We see this all the time. We see it in the people attacking Quentin Flynn right now. I can tell you exactly the step-by-step process of what they're going to do. I mean, when I've been looking at this from an objective perspective here, I can say, okay, Quentin can do A, and that is going to directly cause this, and this is going to set this series of events into play. And if Quentin does B, it's going to set off this series of events into play. Doesn't matter what Quentin or Vic or Jeff or any of these people do. It doesn't matter anything. We've seen all of the outcomes already, folks. We saw what happened to Alakaloka. We see it, and we see it happening to Stan Lee. People waited until that man was in the ground before they started bringing out allegations against him because they knew they had nothing to do. They had nothing to say when he was alive. Because Stan Lee would fucking destroy that in a heartbeat. Gotta wait until he can't say anything. I'll share a story back in the day when a friend of mine was being attacked with really dumb milquetoast shit. I said, look, if they had anything against you, that would be the front and center, that would be the centerpiece, that would be the main event that they were pushing. They have nothing. Todd Habercorn, yeah, another one. Johnny Young Bosch. They have nothing. If they had anything at all, they would bring it to the forefront, and that would be their main event. That would be their pressure point. That would be the be-all, end-all. They wouldn't hold the fucking murder weapon. Like, if they had a video of you murdering somebody and they came out and called you a terrible person, they wouldn't just hide that video. They wouldn't just hold that back. They wouldn't be like, oh, evidence is coming. Evidence is coming. Oh, you don't believe. You're not going to believe how much evidence we have. We have so much evidence. I can't even hold all this evidence. They wouldn't do that. They would just show it. The point is, it's a smoke screen because they're hoping somebody else comes forward with it. They're hoping that someone else does the work for them. They're hoping, like that disgusting person, that it happened to a minor. They're hoping it. They don't have anything. They don't have any case. They don't have any complaint. They don't have any validity. Or else that would be front and center. Notice how the biggest attack against Quentin so far was that he kissed a girl without her consent. Meanwhile, there's a video that exists of her consenting to the kiss. Not only consenting to the kiss, but making a video excitedly bragging about it to her friends. And then 5-10 years later, I was pressured and I thought about it later on and I don't like it anymore. Is that a victim? Is this a victim? It's not. It's not. You also saw Sonny and Chrissy thinking of meeting up when they're fully vaccinated. Very sus. That's what I'm saying. Like, you go 1 week ago. And the same person that's saying, I'm so terrified right now. I'm literally shaking right now. I'm literally shaking. The same person a week prior. Now a week later is going around, oh, thanks for sharing my video. My petition wasn't going to do anything, but now you're sharing it. I'm just so important now. Literally terrified and shaking. Literally terrified and shaking. Okay. You're the victim, though, right? This is what we're talking about, though. Because she's gotten to the point where she's oversaturated herself. Tui did the same thing back in the day. Tui tried to be, you know, this rational. I'm gonna go and talk to everybody and be everybody's friend, and we're gonna get this resolved.
Come on, man.
And then she made 15 other accounts and started having conversations with herself. Let me remind you, my first interaction with Sonny, my first interaction with her, I was talking with people to try and get some information about the Quentin Flynn stuff. Randomly came across the conversation. She came at me on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, like, being an idiot. And she said to me, "You're going to have to block me to get me to stop." Does that sound like a victim? Does that sound like a victim? You're going to have to block me to get me to shut up. There's been several, Ninja Bread Man. Oh, he licked a thigh. Yeah, he licked a thigh. Now, because that didn't catch fire, they had to go with my interview with him. Oh, it was such a terrible interview. It was so terrible. Oh, dumpster fire of an interview. It was so horrible. Let me just copy the interview and put it on my YouTube so I can get hits. It was such a bad interview, though, right? Such a bad interview that it only made him look really fucking good. It was such a bad interview that failing that, you know, you didn't even care enough to dispute the DMCA claim because you knew it was a valid DMCA. First of all, you knew it was a valid one, so you didn't dispute it. But it was such a good video. It was such a terrible video for him, right? It was such a terrible video for him that it still exists on my page. It still exists on my YouTube. Still there. And it was so terrible that you had to then go make another video about his comments in Nick Rekieta's chat. And you had to use the comment of how much he was so thankful for his wife and how much he loved his wife as some sort of a gotcha. What's next? Oh right. I almost forgot. When my interview went up with Quentin Flynn, you and your two friends made 85 Google accounts to downvote my video immediately before it even aired. Before it even aired, I had 85 dislikes on the preview of my interview for Quentin Flynn. Not even video on it yet. 85 dislikes. Which Google later cut down to 3, by the way. Google cut down to 3. And she's out here bragging about getting 100 signatures. You have 85 Google accounts. You signed off on 85 different Google accounts. And you want to say that it's far-fetched to think that 85 of those signatures weren't just you? You're really fucking mad that people aren't interacting with your shit, which is fine. Be mad about it. Nobody cares. I'm talking about it now because it's pertinent to the discussion we're having right now about how you've been adapting narcissistic traits and how you've been projecting that onto people like Vic. You've been projecting that onto people like Quentin, onto people like Jeff Nimoy, onto people like Todd Habercorn, Johnny Young Bosch, Scott Cawthon, insert person here. And I'm saying you in a general sense. I'm saying these individuals out here that are making these stupid allegations, that are abusing victim culture. People who are victims should be pissed off. Because you have a bunch of people who have never been victims in their lives skinning actual victims and wearing their skin like a fucking trophy and saying, look at how victim I am. Praise me. You're sick people. I know you won't take this advice, which is why it's not advice for you. It's advice for people who made the mistake of listening to you. If it was an issue that was widespread, the signatures would be up to 1 million. You just take every argument. You just take every argument that the other side brings up against you and you Uno reverse it. You see, oh, it took them 7 days to get 100 signatures on that one. It took us 24 hours. Of course it does when you make fucking 100 accounts yourself. It doesn't matter. That's the point. It only matters to you. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to any company out there. Have I had a run-in with the Les Bean chick on Twitter? Maybe. I might have muted her. I mute a lot of people. Well, it's very easy to find the disingenuous debaters and arguers, and I just mute them pretty much right away within the first couple of interactions if I know that they're completely fucking nonsense. Like the judge said, if it exists, if the stupid whatever page you create for whatever celebrity you fucking despise, if that page exists as an awareness page, then leave it there. It's an awareness page. If you start jamming it in the face of every fucking person that walks within 200 feet of you, it's no longer an awareness page. You start going door to door, handing out pamphlets, putting stickers on cars. It's no longer an awareness page. It's a campaign. It's a harassment campaign. And the funny part is, once Chrissy stopped being of use to you, you burnt her at the stake too. The person who actually has repercussions, physical repercussions for her stupid actions. I have no sympathy. Because you lay in bed with snakes and you get what you get. But when Chrissy is out here getting her fucking skull beaten in because you idiots can't pull up for a second, you just have to smash on people. You have to smash on people and make fun of people and attack people that like older men, right? You have to say that liking an older person older than you, that's terrible. That's pedo bait. Oh my god, that's so horrible. It's so terrible. To the point where the person that you were that you were quote unquote defending had to come out and remind you that hey, I actually do like older men. Maybe you shouldn't be so hard on people that do. That's an actual thing. You're at the point where you're even slicing the throats of people that you were quote unquote defending. That doesn't matter to y'all out there, does it? Doesn't matter to the people that are making the accusations, that are making the Twitter likes and the back pats, right? Y'all are making so much ground on that, right? The whole like 3 or 4 likes that you get out of it must be worth throwing your friends under the bus for. Really, really must be worth throwing your friends under the bus for. It's the thing. It's you have a bunch of children getting upset that adults have relationships. Like, Jesus Christ. Relax. Relax. They're consenting adults. They're consenting adults. You have a problem with it? Then be abstinent. Oni Lord Miki, it was funny because there was a conversation where those idiots were bashing people for having like a 30-year age gap. You know, oh, it's so disgusting that older men are dating younger women, and to the point where Chrissy actually had to step in and say, guys, you should probably hold up. Because, like, I actually do exclusively date older men. And there are a lot of women out there that do exclusively date older men that are consenting adults. But, of course, she had to save face and be like, but, you know, as long as they're not being creepy about it, though. Fucking betas, man. Liquid moral compass. And that is the only... You've hit it on the fucking head, Ragnarok Knight. That is the only reason she was upset. It's the only reason that there's a lot of people that were upset. Was because he got married. It was only a problem when he got married. This is the point. They don't actually care about the victims they're defending. They will use whatever and whoever. It, like, be damned. They don't care. I'm going to take a moment here. I'm going to take a moment here to shill my merchandise again. For anyone who's not already checked out the Canuckleheads store, this is the right one. If you have not already checked out the Canuckleheads store, y'all should, because this is pretty fun. Boom. Speaking of people who read up shit on Reddit and believe that they have that medical condition, we have released the Merry Vagichristmas line. That's the back of the t-shirt. That's the front. You can get yourself a cloth face mask, which is very fashionable. You can get yourself a fanny pack. It says Merry Vagichristmas on the very top of it there. Got the very, very interesting, stylized tree. Take a moment, have a sip of some beverage. I should have a drink, actually. You can grab yourself. There's many different types of shirts. Ladies' shirts, men's shirts, different colors. We've got tank tops. Merry Vagichristmas. We have leggings. Leggings are probably my favorite thing. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's just as hilarious the second time. But if you've not already checked out the Canucklehead store, the link is in the description. The link is in the description below. You can check out the Canucklehead store. You can get your very own brand new Merry Vagichristmas merchandise. As a badge of Christmas, have you support this cause. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel. You're going to mention Creepshow again because now they have her dirty laundry getting exposed. All of the people she abused came out of the woodwork and share her stories about how she abused them. I'm going to take a look into that. Only Lord Meek, if you can DM me or like email me the information, I'll take a look into that. That'd be very interesting. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, you can grab your wonderful Vag of Christmas line here. These are actually pretty comfortable shirts, by the way. These are actually pretty comfy. You can get your festive. You can get your bright colors. You can support in any way that you want to. Merry Vag Christmas to all. There you go. That's my shilling for the day. Apparently has over 100 victims and only exactly that's what I'm saying. There's only like 2 freaking morons. Yeah, there's lots of really good purples. Lots of really good purples. There's only like 2 people that come out and say anything, but there's thousands of, there's thousands and thousands and thousands. I can look it up on YouTube and take my pick. Yeah, no worries. I might do that a little bit later and take a look into it. But this is what I'm saying. We're dealing with people who are likely not, I'll say that again, likely not narcissistic personality disorder. We're dealing with people who are sociopathic. We're dealing with people who have no regard for human life. Biggest one she fucked with is a username Hopeless Peaches. Well, that's interesting. Beware creepy VA, aka lesbian, for you. They use the number of harassment reports as an arguing point, but it's completely baseless. There's literally a gorillion amount of victims by these 5 people. Exactly. This is insanity. And I'm saying the people that are out there that are actually victims, and I'm not saying necessarily of the people who have been accused of bad things. I'm saying the people out there who have experienced shit in their life. Y'all should be fucking pissed off. Y'all should be mad. Y'all should be standing up and going at these people because they're attempting to diminish they're attempting to diminish and water down actual victims. They're attempting to appropriate. And all this talk about they're trying to silence victims. Physically shaking right now. All this talk about them trying to about people trying to silence victims. They're doing everything they can. They're doing everything they can to silence victims. Watching something about Vanessa Guillen right now, and your heart breaks for her. These people who claim they're victims need to get a fucking grip. That's what I'm saying. Let me ask you, Sonny, because I know you're watching. I know you're watching. Let me ask you, Sonny. What are you a victim of? Are you a victim of your own gaslighting? Are you a victim of your own crippling expectations? What are you a victim of, truly? Because you're not a victim of anything relevant of what you're talking about, first of all. Failed anorexia. Well, that brings me to my next point. It brings me to my next point, though. These individuals. She's a victim of her own mentality, exactly. She's a victim of a blue hairstyle that turned orange. A victim of lacking eyebrows. Oh my god, you guys are savage. It brings me to my next point here. And hello, Samantha. I hope that you and Quentin are doing well today. Oh, you just missed me, like, reading over what narcissists are. You might want to go back and watch the first little bit. It's very interesting. I think you would find it very, very interesting. But you can do that. You can do that after the show if you want. But I hope you and Quentin are doing well. I'm a little bit worried for you. I know that even being 100% correct, even being 100% on the right side of things, of these accusations, etc., and being accused, it is exhausting. It is frustrating. It feels like it's never ending because you're fighting a machine. You're not fighting a person. You're not fighting several people. You're fighting a robot. My thoughts on this, Samantha, is that these people that are calling other people's narcissists, etc., I don't think that they are full-blown NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. I think that they have been appropriating narcissism, and they've been consciously choosing to do it. Because NPD is not a choice. NPD is an infliction based on a mental disability. What I think here is that a lot of these people that we're seeing on here, they're choosing this path. They're choosing to appropriate narcissistic traits. And that, in my opinion, is 10 times fucking worse. 10 times fucking worse. And again, you're dealing with a mechanical entity. You're not dealing with people. Because they'll take out and replace the cogs so the machine will keep running. They will constantly churn out lemmings and throw bodies at you. And it doesn't matter how many people they have to mulch through. This is the sociopathic side of it, by the way. This is the lacking empathy, lacking care, complete lacking of anything, any regard for human life. They don't care who or what they have to go through to get to their goal. I've said it a number of times to a friend of mine who's been dealing with similar shit like this. I'll go over, because there's a lot of people that don't know, because I talked about this a lot during when we had Vic and we were dealing with a lot of pushback. But for people who have just joined from the Quentin Flynn side of things, I'm going to let you in on a bit of crumb history here. For about 8 years and counting, a friend of mine and a convention that I once worked with have had consistent, sustained attacks on them, myself included. myself included. We've had someone who was pretty much a carbon copy of Sonny and company make baseless accusation after baseless accusation after baseless accusation. And when one didn't work, they tried a different one. And when that didn't work, they tried a different one. And when that didn't work, they tried a different one. And when that didn't work, they tried a different one. 8 years and counting. So I will tell a story that I've told countless times. It still burns me to this day. And Samantha, this is the one that I told you in DMs. I can't convey through text the same amount of emotion that I'm about to right now. So years ago, when I was part of Kitchener Comic-Con, we were having one of our bigger years. We were gearing up for the event, and we had just lost a team member to suicide. He lost his battle with depression because people had bullied him into a point where he just gave up. They bullied him to a point where he thought that it was just not going to get better. And a handful of months before Kitchener Comic-Con, he took his life. And so we had been dealing with low tier attacks on our convention for about 4 years at that point. 3 or 4 years at that point. And we decided that in order to honor our fallen teammate, we were going to have a surprise at the convention. For years, we tried to pull off like a masquerade costume contest. And for one reason or another, we were just cursed. We could never get the freaking masquerade / costume contest to go off. One thing or another. So we decided this year we were going to do it. We were going to have, $10 to enter or something like that. I don't remember what it was the first year, but we were going to do a small entry fee for people who wanted to do it. The top billing prize would be the top winner would get to be the cover cosplayer, right? They would get to be on all of the advertising, because basically every year we did like comic book covers for the advertising, and we would use a cosplayer to be the model for it, right? They would put their best cosplay, blah blah blah. So the top winner of the costume contest would be the cover cosplayer, and they would win a cash prize. 80% of the entry fee pool basically was the top prize. And what we didn't tell people, we wanted to make it a surprise announcement for the convention, was that we were going to take the rest of the 20% and add it to a donation for the Canadian Mental Health Association in our fallen team members' memory. And we were going to make that an annual thing. We're going to do that annually as our homage and our paying it forward for his legacy for the convention, because he did so much for the convention. He did so much for the community. So we had all of this planned. We got attacked for charging for a costume contest. We got attacked for advertising this and that and whatever else. 3 days before the event happened. 3 days before the event happened. Our personal Sonny decided to make a Reddit thread with all of the allegations that he had made for several years before that all got debunked. Every single one of them. Every single attack avenue he came after us with all got debunked multiple times over multiple years. He decided to pool them all into one Reddit thread, and he put that Reddit thread up 3 days before that convention. And he brought it to the media. Because he and his little buddies on Reddit all blew it up to make it seem like it was big. Him and his, basically effectively 85 Google accounts. Because it was him and his circle jerk group of friends on Reddit that all intentionally blew up the Reddit thread to try and push it to the top of the Google. Got the media on it. And I had to spend the first day, the entire first day of the convention, and the days leading up to the convention, instead of enjoying it, instead of being able to spend it with the family that we personally invited, that we gave tickets, we gave free entry, we gave free everything to, instead of being able to participate in that memorial that we had for our fallen team member, their son, I had to spend the entire fucking 12 hours answering questions about that fucking Reddit thread. The entire 12 hours of the convention, I was in front of a camera, I was in front of a microphone, explaining everything. And not 1 minute of my interviews made it to air, because every single one of the stories got cut. Because they realized it was all full of shit. Because they realized every single media outlet that interviewed me realized that he was a fucking liar. I can tell you one thing. Everybody else had a great convention. Everybody else had a great day. I'll remember that for the rest of my life, though. I'll remember that part for the rest of my life, though. And because of that, a lot of the things that I personally had planned to do for the family and do for the memories and all that stuff like that didn't happen that year. Oh, I completely agree, Toy Man. I completely agree. They should have aired it anyways. But they didn't. Because they all had hit pieces ready to go. They all had hit pieces ready to go. Because that year we had a plan to have 2 venues. We had a plan to have a free venue, which we would call the Hall of Heroes. And we had a plan to have a paid venue where you have to have a pass to go in, called the Hall of Villains, where we could serve alcohol. We could serve alcohol. We could do adult activities, things like that. We had it all planned out. And because of that Reddit thread, we lost the second venue. Because of that Reddit thread, we had one of our major headline guests cancel on us. Because of that Reddit thread, I lost an entire day of a convention answering questions that never made it to air. And I get called a monster. To this day, by that asshole, I get called a monster. Because of something he did. Because of what would essentially equate to a terrorist attack on a convention. an emotional terrorist attack, I'm somehow a monster. So I know. I've looked at them in their eyes before. I've seen people like Sonny before, who are literal nobodies, who claim to be a victim of nothing, who drape themselves in victims without their permission, without their want, who do nothing but try and tear down and destroy other people's hard work, who only want to break that glass ceiling of 10 likes on Twitter. For what? And I understand it's exhausting. I understand the fight can be hard. I understand what Vic goes through, what Quentin goes through, what people that are on the other end of that go through. I get it. The embarrassing part of this whole thing, like Ragnarok Knight saying, the media was so prepared to have hit pieces it wasn't willing to do a redemption arc. So much so that the following year when we had Vic Mignogna show up the following year for a banner year of Kitchener Comic Con, the media refused to show up. And we still won 4 awards. So here's the thing. My advice out there to the Vics of the world, to the Quentins of the world, to the Jeff Nimoys, to the Todd Habercorns, to the Scott Cawthons, to anybody out there that's being targeted by these fucking scumbags, don't give in to them. Don't negotiate with terrorists. If you have been honest, if you have been 100% with everything that you've said, Jim Cummings, yeah. You've been 100% honest up front. You have nothing to hide. You have nothing to worry about. Bottom line. They did you a favor. They cut your strings. You can stand on your own. You can stand with your head held high. Because those scumbags will never, ever have power over you again. And at the end of the day, when you're winning awards and you're succeeding and you're happy in life, they're still going to be miserable, disgusting wretches. Squealing and screeching. And that ain't going to be anything on you. They pretty much are social terrorists. 100% agree. Agree. The point here is, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to men, women. It can happen to trans, gay, straight. Doesn't matter. It can happen to anybody. It often does. It often does. But the point here is, the truth never changes. Truth never changes. Facts never change. And you can tell with how often these stories are changing, how often the goalposts are moving, how often one thing is a problem for somebody but not for somebody else. They don't care. This is where the sociopathic tendencies come in. They don't care. They only care about what they want. Be damned everything else. They only care with their end game. They only want what they want. And if you're in the way of that, then be damned. The truth needs no defense. That's why I'm hoping for people like Vic is doing it one way. I hope that Quentin finds what's right for him and what path is right for him. And I hope the same goes for Jeff. I hope the same goes for everybody out there that is facing similar circumstances. Because at the end of the day, if you're listening to the advice that your opponents are giving you, what are you really doing? If they don't want you to do a specific thing, chances are that's probably 100% of what you should do. Probably. The thing is, LEZ, the thing is there's no amount of proof that can change their viewpoint. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe you or the facts or the truth. They don't want it. It's what I keep telling folks. You can't convince the people that hate you. Don't try. Don't waste your energy. They're just going to keep taking more and more and more. The people that hate you are going to hate you. That's the way it is. They don't like you, they're going to not like you. That's fine. There's plenty of people that do like you. And there's plenty of people that you should focus your time on and energy on and efforts on. Because out of 1,000 people, 900 are not going to care. One way or the other. What happens? 900 people just won't care. 90 people will be there to support you and love everything that you do. 9 people will have some sort of an issue with what you do. And one person no matter what you do, will never be good enough. No matter what you say, you're always going to be the worst person on the face of the planet. So don't focus on the one person out of 1,000. Don't focus on the 10 people out of 1,000. Don't even focus on the 900 people that don't care either way. Focus on the 10% of people that do care about you. I know it's frustrating, and I'm living testament proof is all I can say. Like, I wish that I could find a better way to like put it out there and describe it and like download this into people's consciousness to understand. But we have this, we've been browbeaten and trained by people who have adapted narcissistic tendencies willingly, not inflicted by a personality disorder. They saw these things and they said, huh, you know what? I'm going to do that. In America, people complain about innocent until guilty amendment, forgetting that this is still illegal, right? They pray they don't become judges or lawyers. Yeah. That's why people have gone and created their own kangaroo court of public opinion. Quentin got a fucking court ruling against his stalker. Quentin is the victim in this situation. And these people cannot get that. Because Quentin being the victim in this situation means that their actions are wrong. And so when their actions are wrong, that must mean everybody else's actions are wrong. Because there's no way they can be wrong about something. And a majority of people will understand. She keeps trying to claim, well, not Chrissy, Sonny, by the way, when I'm talking about this. Sonny keeps trying to claim that nothing was ever found against Chrissy. Actually, it was. First of all, Chrissy brought her evidence to the judge. The judge read her evidence. He stated that he did. He said as much. He gave her an opportunity to bring further elaboration and new things that she wanted him to understand and hear. She didn't. He gave her ample opportunity. He read over her entire defense and deemed that she was wrong, that she was participating, that she was behaving in a poor manner, in a bad manner. And if people out there like Sonny, like Chloe, like whoever else wants to jump in there and defend them, all of a sudden you are attacking a victim. You're attacking someone that Chrissy inflicted herself upon. And by telling people like Quentin, telling people like myself that are talking about this to stop talking about it, you are silencing victims. You want people to stop talking. So, what is it? What is it? Quentin isn't doing victory laps. He hasn't come out and asked me to do any videos. He hasn't asked me to defend him. I wouldn't do what anyone tells me to do anyway. If you've watched any of my 49 other fucking shows, you would know this. I had Ron Toye on my show 3 times at the behest of Vic. I don't take direction from anybody. Period. I talk about this because people need to understand and people need to know this. Because people have a right to understand. People have a right to not be manipulated and gaslit by sociopathic, pathological liars. You can boil down the truth until it fits in your nice little tiny square. But as soon as you start cutting off the corners, it ain't the fucking truth anymore. As soon as you start omitting things, it isn't the truth anymore. As soon as you start folding things over until it fits your narrative, it's not the truth anymore. And you can either accept that, or you can continue going down the road until you start doing things illegal and get repercussions for it. Which, as we've already seen, trying to pretend like you weren't friends. May 14th, 2020 says otherwise. But you didn't know her before then, right? You didn't know her before the court case, right? People deserve to know who the liars are. And I can tell you, Quentin Flynn ain't one of them. Vic Mignogna ain't one of them. All they have to do is look at these people's accusations for more than a fucking heartbeat. And you can make all the change.org petitions you want. You can send all the emails from all of the 85 different Gmail accounts that you've made. Fact of the matter is that you have done more to silence victims than anybody at fucking all. That's where all of this shit comes together. Narcissistic personality. These people are choosing to apply these traits to themselves. They're choosing to appropriate these traits. And I don't even know what to call that. They wish they had an excuse. They can't even use that as an excuse now. My goodness. Fired up today. I am fired up today. My God. You said Sonny in a private tweet and she attacked you. You're like, oh, okay. These people they're so obsessed with themselves. Everything is about them, right? Everything. Yeah, they mocked Samantha's very real assault that brought medical issues and the man went to prison. How is that supporting victims? They don't care about supporting victims. It's not about supporting victims. It's about appropriating victim culture so they can get the most likes. So they can get the most attention because they're important. They want to be important so fucking bad. Making false claims and buttoning innocent people or burning innocent people at the stake or causes real victims is a crime. Harder to defend themselves. Yep. Absolutely adipose. Absolutely. And this shit only hurts the credibility of actual victims. Like actual real victims. Not these people who are LARPing victims on social media. Not these people who are literally, they know that their time is short and they're trying to squeeze out as much fucking attention as possible before they get thrown under the bus. I mean, do they not see the endless line of fucking lemmings that are falling off a cliff to their fucking death as they walk up to the cliff themselves? Do they not see it? It's literally that, well, it's not not going to happen to me. Yeah, and being a victim is a fucking terrible thing. Having shit inflicted upon you is a fucking terrible thing. And seeing someone who has literally no hardship in their life trying to act like they've had the worst experience in life ever, for what? So you can get 1,000 hits on your videos. So you can get 10 likes on Twitter. You can get 20 retweets. So you can get 100 signatures on your .org petition. What is it? What is it? Maybe it's so you can collect money. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's so that you can maybe it's not anything. Maybe it's not about the victims at all, right? Maybe it's not about the victims at all. Maybe it's about you going out there and trying to get donations from people to get someone fired. Huh. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe that's what it's about. It's but you tell people it's okay because that person donated $25 whole to a children's charity. Really? I'm pretty damn sure that it falls under the banner of fraud. Fraud for fundraising to do something that you literally can't do. It's definitely unethical to raise money to get someone fired. Just putting that out there. How much money did you guys raise? Was it the whole $25 that you donated to donated to charity? I'm surprised you opened your wallets that much. Yeah, or is it because you really, really want to get your bestie friend who's not a talented voice actor at all to take over a role that they are horrifically underqualified to do? Is that what it is? Is that what you want? I mean, I don't know. You clearly don't care about victims. You clearly don't care about victims. So what is it, money? Are you looking to make money off of it? Are you looking to get your friends jobs? Because you think that, you can go in and get someone fired and then you can dictate to the company who you can replace them with? That doesn't work. But, goes back to the appropriating narcissism stuff, right? You folks honestly think that you have a bigger dick than you do, right? You honestly think that companies are going to listen to you because you got 10 likes on Twitter. You think that being an influencer strictly comes down to how many people look at your video. You have no fucking concept of what it is to be an influencer. You have no concept of what it is to be successful or have any sort of pull in any sort of industry. Some companies do. Some companies do bend to it, Samantha, but they don't bend to it because of what people think. They bend to it because it's easier than having to deal with lunatics. Exactly. You're like halfway there, Ragnarok Knight. You have 10 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You're basically an influencer now. You have like 10 people. That's like, if 10 people made like 85 YouTube accounts, that's like so many people right there. The VAs are shilling to seem just as toxic as them. No one's going to hire someone like that. And they're not. Fact of the matter is, these people are quietly getting removed from the industry. COVID conveniently gave companies a reason to cut the fat. They were stuck with a ton of people that they had been forced onto them because of X, Y, or Z reason. And now companies are like, all right, you know what? These people are not profitable. They're terrible. We can get rid of them now. And they are. They're getting rid of them left and fucking right now. And it is what it is. There could be a million reasons. There's not much funny other than fat. It's a lot to trim. But sometimes it comes down to something as simple as dollars. They could be looking for a reason to replace voice actors. Because instead of paying a Vic Mignogna $2 a line or whatever, I'm just spitballing it. Instead of paying a Vic Mignogna $2 a line, they'll have to pay Johnny Nobody 2 cents a line. Do they actually care about any of the allegations? No, they don't fucking care. These companies don't care. Are you kidding me? They don't give a fuck. They care about the 98 cents they're about to save, or like the $1.98 they're about to save. That's what they care about. %, they replace Quentin to have a lower price tag. 100%. These companies have no loyalty. They don't care. Look at WWE as a prime example, okay? You could pick any number of the superstars they just cut outright and make up some story about why they got cut. Point is, Braun Strowman had everything going for him. The man had 3 matches in one night on Raw. Braun Strowman. 3 weeks later, they terminate his contract. Why did they do that? Comes out almost immediately. It was because that he was getting paid $1 million on his contract. Money. Now imagine if there was some sort of floating allegation about Braun. Someone backstage had an axe to grind. Someone wanted some clout in the wrestling community, made an accusation, and said, oh, that's why Braun got terminated. It's the exact same shit we're seeing right now. The exact same shit, just different day. There's a reason why high-profile targets are being accused of shit. It's because... And companies let it happen because companies save the money. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if, like, they don't care who Vic slept with. They don't care who Quentin slept with. They don't give a shit about Chrissy. They don't give a shit about some psychotic chick who lives in Finland and Germany. They don't care about these people. Is that tangible to them? No. They care about money. They care about controllability. How controllable are you? That's what they care about. It's romantic to think that, you know, all these companies really, really care. You know, rainbow flag during June. And as soon as it ticks over to July, they're going to fire all their LGBTs. Same shit happens all across the board. Oh, it's Bell Mental Health Month, right? You know, Bell Let's Talk Day. The day after Bell Let's Talk, they fire people who literally had a history of mental health issues that they had been working with the company with. They don't fucking care. They don't fucking care. All they care about is money. %, that's what it comes down to. And you have the plummet rants of the world that are happy to take credit, right? Oh, I got Vic removed from a Star Trek convention. No, you didn't. Nobody in the fucking world believes that you did. Absolutely not. These people operate in a very dark place. These people appropriate very dark things. It's like when you look at the stuff that happened with James Gunn. When James Gunn was hired by Disney, Disney did a deep dive on his social media and all that stuff, right? They saw his posts. They saw his controversies. It wasn't an issue when they hired him. Several years later, when some psychopath on social media brought it up and all of a sudden budget issues were a thing, oh, then it's an issue. Oh, James Gunn's making a lot of money now because, Guardians of the Galaxy was like an actual massive hit. Maybe we don't want to pay him that fat contract we signed. Oh, maybe we don't want to pay him as much on his re-signing. Convenient. And then you have individuals out there that are happy to run to social media to snap up any sort of clout and take credit for anything that they did not do. The collection of traits in psychology is called the Dark Triad, and it's literally all of these clowns possess them. Exactly. And the sad thing is it's not natural. This is something they choose. It's not like they're born with it. It's not like they have no choice. It's not like they're inflicted with a disease that they can't get a cure for. They actively take it in. They actively emulate it. They actively become it. It's a conscious choice. It's a sickness. It's like willingly going out and injecting yourself with cancer. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. But here we are. This is the disease that social media has created for us. This is the disease that was brought about by social media. It is the need for constant attention. It's the need to chase that dragon. I mean, we basically saw this in Portal, right? With GLaDOS. Constantly creating little situations, little tests, and get that positive feedback. And then if you do something too simple, it doesn't generate that, but you get so addicted to that rush, right? You get so addicted to that dopamine. You just have more of it. More and more and more. You're 100% true, Samantha. They expect Disney to be the pinnacle of morality, and yet they're flying the People's Republic of China flag. First we insult lemmings and now dragons. And be careful. Don't be insulting dragons now. I'm saying they're chasing the dragon. They're chasing that dragon. It's like a drug. They're just so fucking addicted to it. They have to have that clout. They have to have that positive loop feedback, right? They have to. And when it's not there, they have to create it. They have to create it. And the funny part is, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. The funny part behind all of this is time doesn't matter. We saw this, right? Every so often they'll dip a toe in. They'll dip a toe in. Is it right to do it now? Nope. Oh, no one's listening. Oh, I'm getting pushback. Okay, take the toe out. I'm gonna wait 5 years. 5 years later, oh, time to dip a toe in again. See, oh, is anybody paying attention now? Oh, people are paying attention now. Oh, is the water temperature right for me to drop these allegations in? That's what happened with our stalker. 8 years and counting. He keeps dipping his fucking toe in to see. Or are people going to listen to me now? Are people going to be listening to me now? Have people forgot about me showing my ass? Have people forgotten about me being a complete moron? Well, maybe there's a new generation that'll listen to me now. They're predators. They're the definition of predator. They sit and they skulk and they stalk. They're the ones waiting for the moment to pounce. And they do so willingly. That's why it's a very fine line when we're looking at narcissistic personality disorder. When we're looking at NPD, it's a very fine line between that and between someone who is actively choosing. Because NPD, they don't know any better. It's literally how their brain's wired. What makes it worse is people out there like the Shanes of the world, like the Montellos of the world, like the Chrissies, like the Sonnies, like the Chloes. They know better. And they're choosing to be that way. That's the difference. And that's what scares me the most. Because as a society, we should be stamping that shit out. Yet here we are rewarding it. Not so much anymore. We're starting to see it getting clawed back a little bit more. We're starting to see it get clawed back a tiny bit more. All these women release private, intimate things. That's the real sexual predator. That's what I'm saying. They go all in on the narcissistic rage too, yes. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. We've read over what makes a narcissist. People are aware of it. It's like the story we went over about how that one girl read up that she had some medical condition on Reddit, right? She had some medical condition. Then boom, that means that she automatically had it because it felt like something that she read. That must be it. People read up about narcissism. People read up about narcissistic personality disorder. Actually being diagnosed and being a narcissist is something that you don't have control over. That is something that you need to seek help and get therapy and have treatment to control. It is an affliction. So these individuals on Twitter that are calling Vic and Quentin and Jeff narcissistic, they have no idea what it means because they're also holding them accountable for their actions, which the two don't necessarily correlate. Because in saying that they have narcissistic personality disorder, you're saying that they are also not aware and therefore not responsible for their actions. Because as we have seen, clearly, by doctors who have been discussing this, by the stuff we've been referencing on stream, people who have narcissistic personality disorder, while dangerous, are not necessarily responsible for their behavior because they can't control it. However, the people that adapt, the people that take in, the people that appropriate those traits and try to claim others to be, they do have a choice. And they should be held responsible. So, take that for what you will. Take that for what you will. In my personal, non-professional opinion, I've met Vic, I've talked with Quentin. I don't believe that either of them exhibit enough of the narcissistic traits to be diagnosed as narcissistic personality disorder. They have way, way too much empathy. They have way, way too much humanity and regard for other humans. They don't check enough boxes, in my opinion. Take that as you will. I mean, yeah, LEZ, Quentin's light years away from any of these traits. 100%. But the funny part is they don't even understand what they're doing by accusing them of being narcissistic. They're trying to say in the same vein that, number one, they're narcissistic personality disorder. They're trying to say that, first of all, they're narcissists and they're terrible people. And that, number two, they're also responsible for all of the terrible things they've done. Which, if you're a narcissist, you cannot be responsible for all the things that you've done. You can't. Because textbook definition says you have no control over it. It's an infliction. It's something you are not aware of doing. So how can you be held responsible? So which is it? Are you calling them narcissists, or are you saying they're responsible for their behavior? Because it's clear that you read up what a narcissist is on Reddit as well. Clear you read up what a narcissist was on Reddit as well. Alright, I'm going to do one final shilling of my Teespring. I'm going to show you guys all the wonderful, fun stuff that we have on this Teespring. Just back it up here. I had to pull this dumb thing up again 1 second. And then we're going to call it a stream. We're hitting just about 3 hours. Here we go. If you want to purchase any of these lovely Canucklehead merchandise, you get the full print, all over print t-shirt, which is very comfortable. This t-shirt is actually printed. It comes straight out of Compton. I'm not even kidding. It comes straight out of Compton. We have the official fleece blanket, which is right behind me, right beside me. I don't know if you can see it right here. Nice fleece blanket. We have stickers. We have the Merry Vag Christmas line, which is brand new. If you've self-diagnosed off of Reddit anything, then this line is for you. 100%. Merry Batch of Christmas. Pick up that stuff. We have this hilarious vintage 2020 y'all can go to hell sent from my iPhone line. You can get an iPhone case. I think there's an iPhone case. Yeah, there it is. You can literally get an iPhone case that says y'all can go to hell sent from my iPhone. Or you can be a degenerate and get one for your Android phone. Funny story. There was one person that I had a back and forth with over email. She was really, really mad that we invited Vic, and she ended off our very cordial conversation with "Y'all can go to hell." So that's where that is from. You can get your amazing, amazing stuff there. You can get your marked safe from line as well. So we have Twitter memes, marked safe from Twitter memes. Marked safe from having fun, so you can get your marked safe from Kitchener Comic-Con mug, stickers, t-shirts. 4-course. We have the 4-course line as well. Vintage, when we had Ron Toye on the show, and he said it's like if someone he likened Ty's approach to the court case as if someone brought a fork and a horse to a baseball game. So there you go. Major League 4-course. The mug has a little remote on the back. Special edition wife beater tank top also has the remote on the back to make sure that you're keeping in line. We have the t-shirts, we have the stickers, we have all that fun stuff. So Major League 4-course. Check out all of that stuff as well. What would a Canucklehead Speedo possibly look like? That I have to look up to see actually if I have the ability to make them. But it would probably look something similar to the t-shirt. Or the blanket. You hate Ron. So there you go. All of these wonderful things are available for sale on my Teespring account. I don't really make a whole lot of money on them. This is basically just for you guys having fun. And supporting all the funny fucking memes that we come up with on this channel. I am actually getting a cloth face mask, a t-shirt, and I'm pretty sure a fanny pack. I don't know if I ordered the tights, but I'm getting a fanny pack because this thing is fucking hilarious. It says Merry Vag of Christmas on the top part where the zipper is. There's a little thin fabric line on the very top. I don't know if it'll actually show. Yeah, it doesn't actually show, but you can see it. It's printed right across the top there. Merry Vag of Christmas. With this wonderful stylized, you can kind of see like the tree shapes. You know what it looks like. I don't have to tell you what it looks like. Very large bush. Very wonderful Christmas tree outline. So people on that are listening on Spotify or listening to the podcast later, you can find it on Teespring. The link should be in the description of this episode. Check it out. Wonderful, good quality stuff. Fun stuff that will keep you clothed and give you lots to talk about. This Canuckleheads t-shirt, by the way, you can also get different colored collars on it. I really like the red collar. You can get different kinds of collars on it. Looks really fucking sharp no matter what you do. So there you go. I have the white collar one. Pretty damn decent. So it's Crumb. I can't throw Egrid Suko emotes at me. Hello, Blight Blazer. How you doing? Thank you so much. You should have a fanny pack saying y'all can go to hell. I probably can make one now. I didn't have the fanny packs available originally, but now I've unlocked them. So I have unlocked fanny packs. So there you have it. But I think we have successfully gone over a lot of what I wanted to say on this show topic today. It's kind of all over the place. I don't know if I'm gonna have a show next week, just because depending on the weather, I'm supposed to get together with a friend, so I might not be available for a show next week. But I am looking to do a Saturday appearance with Drexel on his show sometime soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know when that's going to happen, but keep an eye out for that. Also keep an eye out we're going to be doing a celebration of the 1,000 subs. So I'm waiting to hear back from YouTube if I get partner. If I don't get partner, then we'll still have a celebration. We'll just celebrate the 1,000 subs. If I do get partner, then we'll celebrate that too. So that fun stuff will happen eventually, and it's going to probably be a really long stream with lots of drinking. And you always know how those turn out. But Drexel wants to have me on his show, and all that fun stuff too. So keep an eye out for those announcements. I think that's about it. All I have for today. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate all of you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's show. Let me just. Anything I'm missing? No, I don't think so. I don't think there is. So once again, folks, thank you guys so much for all of it. Yeah, party anyway. We're gonna party anyway. Yeah, the 1K subs is gonna be an open line. I'm gonna open the call lines for it. So keep an eye out for that wonderful fun time. So thank you guys again. I know I keep saying it. That is all for this week. As always, keep your stick on the ice. Bye bye.